Hey there guys, what's going on? So, in the last vinyl unboxing video that I did, which did not include my wonderful little special guest star here, but does today, so it'll automatically be better, at least by, tenfold in terms of the whole eye appeal department. I mentioned that it was my last vinyl unboxing for the week. Well, that was factually inaccurate. Not going to be the first time, certainly hasn't been the last. We actually do have one more in the can here for you for this particular week. Something that I don't often get to cover here. See, he knows. And that is something that is in the form of a compilation. It is an actually really very well-timed compilation, considering the man that it is dedicated to just had his 65th birthday this week, which from a overall looks as well as musical standpoint is impossible to believe, since this man seems to be both ageless on stage and off, and continues to deliver powerhouse sets that musicians half his age and less would be envious to be able to pull off. And it is from a great roster of musicians. It is covering one of his classic albums from the 1980s. It features artists that are sort of firmly in that realm of country folk, a little bit of rock, kind of a more stripped down mixture, not quite as 80s as all that. A little bit of a different territory, kind of bringing this record as a whole, which is very interesting actually, because usually when they're compilations, it's artists taking different songs from different time periods and all this stuff, kind of cherry picking from all over the place. This is a group of artists doing one whole album in tribute to this one mega star of the genre, and of his particular genre at that time in the 80s, which was none other than the great Bruce Springsteen, the boss, the Asbury Park man. I just made that up. Don't anybody use that, because why would you want to? One of the great musicians of our time, who continues to just continue to push on and forward and upward and onward in terms of his material and his live shows and his presence, and is just one of the great musicians whom I respect, has only gone up all the time for, because he's just amazing at what he does. And this is called Dead Man's Town, a tribute to Born in the U.S.A., which my friend here will try to help support without objecting too much, I hope. And it features a great realm of folk, country folk, with a little touch of rock and roll musicians: Jason Isbell, Amanda Shires, Low, Trampled by Turtles, Blitzen Trapper, Justin Townes Earle. It even says it up on the little top here, as well as the track listing on the back, of course, doing this classic roster of songs, which had 7 hit singles, I believe the inside sleeve says. Jason Isbell and Amanda Shires doing Born in the U.S.A., Blitzen Trapper doing Working on the Highway, Joe Pug doing Downbound Train. Joe Pug actually kind of sounds like Springsteen, which is interesting. Low doing I'm on Fire. Trampled by Turtles doing I'm Going Down. Justin Townes Earle doing a great stripped down cut of Glory Days, which is not Justin's first excursion into the realm of Bruce, as he's also done Racing in the Streets. There might even be a cover of Atlantic City out there that he did at some point. Some great stuff he did on some 7-inch work, just in Justin's very specific to him kind of way that just makes it memorable, and he does it again with Glory Days. Nicole Atkins, North Mississippi All-Stars. Ones I don't really know quite as well, but still really hang in there with the rest of the contributors on here. No Retreat, No Surrender. Love the cover, of course. And inside is just a little slip of sorts, kind of just talking about Bruce in general, what his impact was, just talking about this record in general, and updating this record, and what the lyrics on this song meant to Evan Schlansky here, who was the co-executive producer. Very nice little passage here, just talking about what that means, and from lyrics to sound, and just, we learn more from a 3-minute record, baby, than we ever learned in school. That line is one of Springsteen's all-time best, and it comes from one of his greatest albums, one that takes a hard look at small-town America and small-town Americans. Instead of trying to distract them with the confections and baubles of the material world, yet manages to be catchy as hell anyway. It's a loving tribute to this, if anything. And on the other side, production credits, who sang with what, and who played what instrument, etc., etc. Love the Jason Isbell inclusion. That guy just blows my mind. With Amanda Shires, who's amazing as well. Justin Townes Earle, just great stuff here. Nice little liner notes tribute there. And nice little pressing here. Not too bad in sound, I gotta say. Not as quite as thick and durable as, you make your own jokes about me saying thick and durable. Not quite as amazing as some of the pressings that I've talked about this past week, but got a cool little insert here. Sounds good. Very solid pressing from Lightning Rod Records, who picked up very nicely, I must say. Not that they're going to be automatically watching this video. I wouldn't think they would watch this video, in fact. But I got to give them credit for making up on the little bit of a delay they had in getting this off of the production line. They sent me a very nice email about it and sent me a download link early digitally so I could have that in the meantime. And that's the kind of thing you want to do, especially with production delays and things like that being slightly commonplace, at least when it comes to the field of vinyl. So that is pretty much it for my little bit of coverage here on Dead Man's Town, a tribute to Born in the USA. It's a great way of taking a classic 1980s album with, you know, very catchy refrains and things we're used to, like every time, it even says in there, like every time you turn on the radio, hearing Born in the USA, it's like, ah, Born in the USA again. You know, but with artists like this who really take it in a new direction, as well as a download card, by the way, I forgot about that. With artists who really take it in a new direction, who kind of didn't have contact with it, as I read, you know, they didn't have contact, but they still really took it in a new kind of a stripped down, a rootsier direction, and made it their own collectively into something that feels comfortable and breathes in the modern era and really gives an iconic piece of rock and roll music history a new look, a folkier look in the modern age. So that is it for my coverage here. I hope you enjoyed this as well as my flower covered special guest. We will be bringing you more very soon, so stay tuned.